What's good, everybody? Let's jump right into this explainer because the Pentagon just dropped what might legitimately be the wildest file dump of our lifetime. No cap. It is about to get crazy. We're talking about official, declassified government documents covering things flying in our skies that we simply cannot explain. So grab a seat and lock in.
You might remember Congressman Tim Burchett telling us that the first release we saw a little while ago was just a drop in the bucket. He literally said, "Holy crap is coming." Well, the latest batch is finally here, so let's unpack the receipts the government just officially declassified for the public.
And when I say receipts, I mean an absolute mountain of history. We are talking about 80 straight years of classified unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, the government's new term for UFOs. 80 years of files are finally seeing the light of day. This isn't just some modern glitch in the matrix. This is a deeply documented historical phenomenon.
The sheer volume of this drop is absolutely insane. Just to put it into perspective, we got 161 files dropped in May alone, plus 51 videos in this batch. And there's this massive 116-page Armed Forces Special Weapons report detailing over 200 old-school sightings. The scale of the official government documentation we're looking at right now is staggering.
And look, this isn't just a recent trend fueled by smartphones. The timeline on these government files stretches from classic Cold War mysteries back in 1948 Sandia, New Mexico, hits the Apollo 12 moon mission in '69, runs through modern military infrared videos, and goes all the way up to some jaw-dropping encounters as recent as 2025.
The crucial part is comparing these eras and digging into the official investigation details. Let's look at those old-school New Mexico sightings from '48, which are heavily detailed in that massive report we just talked about. Official witnesses reported a crazy three-step sequence. Step 1. These UFOs pulled maneuvers that completely baffled investigators. Step 2. They flew away and vanished. And Step 3. They straight up exploded. Boom. Gone. Officials were noting these deliberate, impossible movement patterns way before modern drones were even a thought.
This whole rolling declassification process was actually ordered by Donald Trump earlier this year. His official statement perfectly captures the hype surrounding these drops. He basically said, "What the hell is going on? Have fun and enjoy." Regardless of your politics, you got to admit that's exactly the energy everyone has right now trying to figure out what is in our skies.
All right, let's fast forward and get into this 2025 encounter with a swarm of orange orbs.
Check this out. An unnamed senior U.S. intel officer was in a military chopper out in the western U.S. investigating some loud mountain thuds when out of nowhere he gets swarmed. And this wasn't a quick flyby. This lasted for over an hour. He described these super hot, oval-shaped orange or white or yellow centers. They were hovering low to the ground, moving at ridiculously high speeds, flaring up and down, and emitting light in all directions. And the craziest part? The swarm eventually grouped together, formed a massive, distinct triangle, and then completely vanished. It perfectly echoes those baffling movement patterns noted 80 years ago, just with way more intense detail.
Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Bro, where are the pics? In an era where literally everything is recorded, how do we not have a picture of an orange orb? But the report states the officer was left entirely speechless. He was way too dialed in on figuring out what this thing was and if this glowing swarm was an active threat to his helicopter to even think about snapping photos. Honestly, if you're boxed in by a super hot alien triangle, taking a picture probably isn't your first priority.
But don't trip, because this file drop did give us some actual visual receipts that we need to analyze right now.
Let's break down some of the most compelling real images they handed over. We're talking enlarged anomalies from the 1969 Apollo 12 moon mission, literally a view from the moon. We've got a spherical UAP absolutely hauling across the Yellow Sea in 2022. And then there's that wild footage of a blurry, octagonal object getting blasted out of the sky by a U.S. fighter jet.
That Lake Huron shootdown is still nuts to think about it. Back in February 2023, the Biden administration ordered fighter jets to take out this weird octagonal structure that literally had strings attached to it. This was going down right in the middle of all that Chinese surveillance balloon drama. It's on video, it's real, and it was blasted to bits. But the circumstances of what that object actually was, still completely unexplained by the Pentagon.
But hold up, time for a quick reality check. As much as we want to take all this video at face value, the Pentagon threw a massive caveat at Congress. A lot of these infrared videos lack a substantiated chain of custody. That's the unbroken documented paper trails showing the exact seizure, custody, transfer, and analysis of physical or electronic evidence.
Here is why that's a huge deal.
With a proper chain of custody, you know a file is verified, authentic, and completely untouched from the camera all the way to your screen. But without it, the Pentagon is flat out admitting to Congress that these videos could have been tampered with at some point before they were released to us. It's a huge loophole that leaves the door wide open for skepticism.
All right, let's wrap this up and look at the big picture. We've got 80 solid years of declassified madness officially on the books. The sightings range from those old-school 1948 New Mexico explosions to massive 2025 orange orb swarms hovering out west. We've got video evidence stretching from the Apollo 12 moon landing to a shoot-down over Lake Huron. But, and this is the absolute key takeaway, there's still no definitive proof of alien technology in these files. And those chain of custody issues? They definitely need plenty of room for healthy doubt.
The government's official stance right now is that you, the people, get to decide for yourselves what's going on. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If the Pentagon is dropping 80 years of wild files, but simultaneously admitting the video footage might be tampered with, are we finally getting the unfiltered truth? Or are we just playing right into a highly controlled narrative? Think about it. Thanks for locking in with this explainer, y'all. Stay curious, and I'll catch you on the next one.